If somebody's looking for the ugliest sweater or the ugliest bowl game that was played in 2024, the Las Vegas Bowl qualified.
You are Locked On Trojans, your daily podcast on the USC Trojans. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hey, fight on, everyone. I'm your host, Marc, and thank you for making Locked On USC. It's part of the Locked On Network, your first listen every day. Whether you're watching the show on YouTube, wherever you're going to download this podcast, it's always going to be free, and I am always going to appreciate your support. Hey, the NFL playoff action. It's almost here, but it's still not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, because right now, new customers, you're going to get $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. Visit FanDuel.com to get started. So, instant reaction. USC, they defeated Texas A&M 35-31 in the 33rd Las Vegas Bowl. Small crowd. Remember, USC started their season in Las Vegas against the SEC, LSU. USC won that game 27-20. That game was sold out. This game wasn't. Wasn't even close. The announced crowd was 26,651. But they were entertained. Look, sometimes we look at an ugly sweater and we go, man, that's ugly. But you can't take your eyes off it. This game wasn't easy to watch, but it was entertaining, especially in the second half. Let me remind USC fans, it's been a long season. Tough losses. USC trailed in this game 24-7. There was roughly 5 minutes left in the third quarter. They came back. They won. That 17 points that they were down, that's the largest comeback in the esteemed Las Vegas Bowl history. USC now owns that record. And they also own a 4-0 record against Texas A&M in their history with this win. Just to give you an idea how ugly the first half of the game was, check out these stats. In the first quarter, it ended Texas A&M with the 7-0 lead. USC had 16 total yards. Texas A&M had 129. Yeah, you heard me correct. USC rushed the ball 4 times. They had -2 yards. Some of that had to do with lost yardage on the sack that Texas A&M got. What else can I go over that was just completely ugly? As far as rushing yards, it's not like Texas A&M was good in the first quarter. 9 rushing attempts, 4.8 yards. Yeah, that was their number. USC, 4 rushing attempts, -2 yards. Passing. Yeah. Jaden Mayava was 3 of 7. Marcel Reed for Texas A&M, a little bit better, 9 of 16, 1 touchdown. He also had an interception. The score actually could have been 14-0 in the first quarter, but the interception that Reed threw, it bounced off of the Texas A&M Aggies' hands. Achille Arnold was in the right place at the right time. He ran it out of the end zone. USC escaped. They were only down 7-0 at the end of the first quarter. Second quarter, flip the script. USC scored 7 points. Texas A&M scored nothing. Halftime score, 7-7. Total yards in the second quarter. USC had 121. Texas A&M had 28. Rushing yards. USC ran it 14 times, 5.4. And then Texas A&M 5 for 3. Total rushing yards. Let me step back from this for a second. First quarter, USC -8, Texas A&M 43. Second quarter, USC had 76, Texas A&M had 16. USC's defense stepped up, started doing their job. And then passing yardage, again, very minimal. In the first quarter, USC had 24 yards, A&M 86. Second quarter, again, the passing game wasn't really going yet for USC, only 45 yards through the air. Meanwhile, A&M, they were able to hold them to 13 yards. So as you can see, not a lot of offense. Defense was kind of setting the tone, so to speak. There was a total of, where do I want to go? Yeah. USC missed a field goal, 39-yarder. A&M missed a 39-yarder later in the game. Talk about that. Overall stats, though. Here's how the game ended statistically. Total yards. USC had 400 even. A&M 443. Passing yards, 295 for USC. 292 for the Aggies. 105 to 161 rushing. Advantage, College Station. Penalties. Yeah, it was a sloppy game. The Aggies were called for 8 penalties, 73 yards. USC 6 for 70. A couple of personal fouls. This game was a little chippy. Anyways, third downs. USC was 6 for 13. A&M 7 for 15. Pretty much even Steven there. Fourth down plays. USC didn't try to go for it on fourth down. A&M did it in the first half. They were 1 for 1. Average yards per completion. 13 yards for USC, 11 for the Aggies. And then what else can I go here? Here we go. Turnovers. USC had 3. A&M had 2. They were all interceptions. 3 for Jaden Mayaba, 2 for Marcel Reed. And then as far as sacks, each team recorded 1 sack. Tackles for loss. USC held A&M below their average of 7 per game. They only allowed 6. USC had 2 tackles for loss. So again, statistically, this is nothing you would want to write home about. But the bottom line is USC outlasted Texas A&M. If you ever see the movie Las Vegas, USC was dancing at the end. It was fun. My favorite moment, Kyle Ford leading the band, standing on the top of the ladder with that sword. It was a great moment. If you're on social media, go to X, go to my timeline. It's a beautiful moment. Again, this is just my instant reaction, so I'm just kind of rambling, rattling, whatever comes off the top of my head right now. It is letting you know it's 2:35 in the morning, Saturday. Yeah. Game kicked off at 7:30 p.m. You guys on the East Coast, good morning. The sun's going to be coming up soon. I got a couple more segments coming up for you here. Has Rocket Money helped you find any subscriptions that you forgot about or that you were paying for twice, overpaying? Rocket Money made it so easy to track them all down. It's like having a personal assistant for your finances. Rocket Money is a personal finance app that helps you find and cancel your unwanted subscriptions. It monitors your spending and it helps lower your bills so you can grow your savings. It brings everything together in one place, whether it's subscriptions, your spending habits, or even the goals you want to hit this year. Rocket Money has over 5 million users and has saved over $500 million in canceled subscriptions, saving its members up to $740 a year when they use all of the premium features. Cancel your unwanted subscriptions and reach your financial goals faster with Rocket Money. Go to rocketmoney.com/lockedon today. That's rocketmoney.com/lockedon. rocketmoney.com/lockedon. So you watch this game. I watch this game. I'm up there in the press box, and I'll say this. I have been one of Coach Riley's harshest critics when it comes to play calling and clock management. I'm still going to be that dude. I really, really, really emphasizing it. Hope Lincoln Riley goes back, looks at every game, looks at all the game film, and says, you know what? I got to do better. I got to do better play calling. I got to be better at clock management. I got to be better all the way around. Again, I have confidence that Riley's going to be able to grow with the program, do what he needs to do. But I think 2024 is another learning experience for him. He learned the hard way with Alex Grinch. Hopefully he is at the point now where he can say, you know what? I'm secure. Let me go hire an offensive coordinator. Let me have somebody else handle the play calling duties so I can focus on clock management. All the minutia, all the details, who's in the game, who should be in the game. There's just too much going on. Anyways, enough of that. Do we want to talk about the quarterback play, or do we just want to say, you know what? Jaden Mayaba, he didn't quit. He kept fighting, and he found Clyde Ford in the end zone for that game-winning score. That was a tough game to watch. You know, remember, everybody was clamoring for Lincoln Riley to replace Miller Moss. Put him on the bench, bring in Jaden Mayaba so he can use his legs, so he can make that RPO, the read pass option, actually work. Give the opposing defenses something to think about. That really never showed itself once Jaden took over. He had 3 interceptions in this game. He had 3 in the previous. Excuse me. He had 2 pick sixes in the previous, and he had another one in the game before that. I don't know if he will be USC's quarterback in 2025, but the competition during spring camp between him and Husan Longstreet is going to heat up. I'll tell you right now, I don't know how much confidence Lincoln Riley has with Jaden Mayaba. And I say this because I look at how the play calls, the passing routes. You notice not a lot of stuff went over the middle. One of his interceptions came over the middle. I think we saw the difference in the wide receiver room in this game. Less is actually more. You had no Zachariah Branch. You had no Deuce Robinson. All of a sudden, Jacoby Lane, Makai Lemon, Jacoby specifically really asserted himself. I thought he stepped up and made catches and became a team leader today. And that was critical. Makai Lemon always displays that grit, that determination, that dog mentality. Sometimes with Jacoby Lane, I'm not quite sure. He has a lot of fun. I think the game comes super, super easy for him. The second Jacoby realizes that, you know what, I'm wide receiver number 1, and I am this team's leader, and I need to be more serious at times, his game is going to take off. I mean, skyrocket. He's unguardable. Today, he actually got a bunch of yards after the catch, and that was impressive. He led the team with, 7 catches for, I think, 127 yards, 73 yards, 73 of the 127 after the catch. As far as we cannot, I would be remiss if we did not talk about USC's offensive line and what a fantastic job they did. And it might not look like it when you're watching it, but let me remind you, USC was missing 2 of their starters on the offensive line. Okay. Jonah Monheim, he decided to opt out of this game. He's going to get ready for the NFL. He's earned that right. I have 0 issue with this. And then we know Mason Murphy is already in Auburn out of the transfer portal. So you had Elijah Page, left tackle, Emmanuel Preyon, left guard, Killian O'Connor killed it at center. Give that man a scholarship already, Lincoln, please. Alani Noah, right guard, didn't call his name once, which means he had a solid game. I don't recall any penalties on him. Maybe he did. I don't remember. And the Tobias Raymond got his start at right tackle. Early in the game, Elijah Page, and it looked like it was a non-contact type of injury. He was in a walking boot for most of the game. I spoke to a source after the game. Said, don't worry, it's nothing serious, just a foot injury. He'll be fine. He's okay. But what that meant was Justin Tauinu had to step in. So now you've got 2 new tackles in the game for the majority of the game. 2 freshmen at left tackle, redshirt freshman at right tackle. And those guys played fantastic. Like I said, Killian O'Connor, I never noticed any pressure getting to Jaden Mayaba up the middle. Mike Elko, A&M's head coach, really good defensive mind. He schemed. He found ways to create that pressure. But for the most part, USC's offensive line, they opened up the holes. You got to see a bunch of Amarian Peterson. I think he can do the job. Brian Jackson can definitely do the job. You got a couple of freshman running backs coming in with this class. And don't forget, you've got Eli Sanders, a transfer from New Mexico, coming in. I like those 5. Let's run with it. We'll be good. Eli Sanders might end up being the playmaker, the speedster of the group. We'll find out. At least the speedster with experience. Harry Dalton, Riley Wormley, both solid running backs as well coming out of high school. So again, Mekhi Lemon, Jacoby Lane, there weren't as many mouths to feed, so to speak, so they were able to showcase themselves. And like Kyle Ford, love it. What a great way for that young man to finish his college career. He came to USC, had a couple of really serious knee injuries that really set him back. Remember, he was a 5-star out of Orange Lutheran, one of the top wide receivers in the country. So he had a little bit of a roller coaster ride at USC trying to stay healthy. He then got some bug in his butt and decided to transfer to UCLA for a year. Came back, said, hey, my bad. Made a bad decision. To get that winning touchdown with 8 seconds left in this game, it was poetic justice all the way around. USC has lost so many games this year after giving up a late fourth quarter lead. They did it again in this game. But with a minute 49 left, USC went on a 10-play, 75-yard drive. Jade Mayaba to Kyle Ford capped it off. Touchdown, USC. They take the 35-31 lead with 8 seconds left in the game. I will always remember Kyle Ford dropping to his knees, hands over his helmet, into the ground, all those emotions rushing up. And then the only thing I can still remember watching at the end of the game was Kyle standing on that ladder, that Trojan sword in his hand, leading the band. Spirit of Troy. Tusk is playing in the background. And USC is winning their Las Vegas Bowl. The team is saluting Kyle. It was just a wonderful moment. It was so beautiful. Something that young man will remember for the rest of his life. I'm even getting a little emotional with it. I've known Kyle since high school. So to see him have this success feels pretty damn good. Happy for that young man. Like I said at the beginning of the segment, Coach Riley, got to work on the clock management. Play calling, it was okay, but there's times where I'm thinking, man, the running game is working. Don't go to the pass, don't go to the pass. And you go to the pass. And like I said, I think I'm looking forward to spring camp, the quarterback competition. Tell you what, Jaden's got a big arm, but he's got a lot to work on. Fundamentally, technically, he's a risk taker. If you watch this game, you know exactly what I'm talking about. He's throwing off his back foot. There was one play where, fortunately, he was sacked. They called his knee down. I don't know what was going through his head, but he threw the pass backwards. It was, anyways. And the flea flicker that they tried to run later in the game, don't do that anymore. That might have been, and I tweeted this out, the worst flea flicker ever executed in the history of mankind. It was terrible. It was ugly. But it is what it is, right? This has been a year of frustration. Hard to watch. Think about all those games USC lost this year by one possession, or where they had the lead late in the fourth quarter and they gave up one play here, one play there. Michigan comes to mind. Think about that Penn State game. Think about that Maryland game where they had the field goal block. This team literally should probably be 9-3 at worst. I think 10-2 is their ceiling. But they had the ability to win every game. They were driving to tie the score against Notre Dame, pick 6. Anyways, I don't want to go down that rabbit hole too deep. But in this game, USC showed that they will not quit. They will always fight. They came from 17 points down. It's huge, massive. I mean, they were down 24-7 with, like I said, roughly 5 minutes left in the game. In the third quarter. And they scored 21 points in the fourth. They outscored them 21-7. They got it done when they had to. So, like I said, Coach Riley says it all the time after each game. He enjoys coaching this team. He loves they never give up. That fight on attitude. In fact, he talked about that after the game tonight. Our motto is fight on. This team continued to fight on. In the last game of the year, they were able to get some, I'll call it sweet revenge, to be able to kind of turn the tables a little bit. Make somebody else feel what they've been feeling all year long. There was a lot of joy on that sideline after the game. I can tell you that. I know bowl games are pretty much meaningless. In this game, this particular bowl game, it means a lot, especially to that roster, the guys who stuck it out, who didn't jump into the transfer portal, who wanted to remain and be Trojans. So, to those guys, fight on, man. You earned it. Fun game to watch. Ugly, frustrating at times, especially in the first half. But to watch a team continue to fight and find a way to win, that made it special. Made it really special. All right, one more segment to go in this instant reaction. I'll be back with another episode tomorrow. I'll get more detail. Well, actually, it'll be on Sunday, but you understand. Just instant reaction right now. The NFL playoffs are almost here, but it's still not too late to get in on the regular season action with FanDuel, America's #1 sports book. Right now, new customers, you can finish the season strong with $250 in bonus bets if your first $5 bet wins. FanDuel has a bunch of ways to pick up that W. You can bet on the game. You can bet on which player will score a touchdown, how many points are going to be scored. If you like prop bets, go to FanDuel.com. Just visit FanDuel.com. Join today. That's FanDuel.com for your chance at $250 in bonus bets. Make every moment more with FanDuel, an official sportsbook partner of the NFL. Pardon me. So USC is now 2-0 on the season in Las Vegas. They're 2-0 against the SEC. Remember, USC beat LSU beginning of the year. They beat Texas A&M at the end of the year. I'll take it. Good way to start and finish. That's how you want to finish, right? With a win. So as far as the Las Vegas Bowl is concerned, USC is now 2-1? Yeah. They remember the last time they were here was in 2013. They beat up on Fresno State. Cody Kessler was the MVP of that game. This game, Jacoby Lane, MVP. And USC is also now 4-0 all-time versus Texas A&M. And the last 3 times have been in a bowl game. The only time these two teams met in the regular season was back in the 60s, I believe, before I was born. And it was in LA. USC in that game as well. So again, Jacoby Lane, your MVP, 127 yards. The previous record for 2 receiving scores was held by 10 different players. So 3 touchdowns. Jacoby owns that record. USC also became the 6th program to win more than one Las Vegas Bowl. I don't know if this is an esteemed record you want to be a part of, but Boise State, they're 4-1. Utah 4-2. One of those USC's loss in the Vegas Bowl was to Utah back in 2001, by the way. BYU, UNLV, Oregon State. Those are the teams on the plus side of the ledger with multiple wins. What else did I like about this game? What did you like about this game? Look, I'm trying to find the positives. Kamari Ramsey had an outstanding diving interception. Who else made a really nice play out there that just off the top of my head? Sorry, it's late. I apologize. It's running here on 3 a.m. I'm going to end the show right now. so I'm just not babbling like an idiot, more than normal. I will be back with another episode of Locked on USC, but I want to let everybody know one more time. USC finishes the season 7-6. They defeated the Texas A&M Aggies 35-31, and they are going to carry some momentum into the offseason. Oh, I should also bring this up. Eddie Chapliski, he'll be fine. I saw him after the game. He actually told me if he wasn't so limber, he probably would have tore up his right knee. That's how hard he got hit. His left leg was planted. That hyperextended a little bit. They ran right through his right leg. Anyways, team's happy. Players are happy. Parents are happy. Spoke to a bunch of them after the game. I'll have a lot more for you on the next episode of Locked on USC. Until then, everyone, it's been a great season. We're going to keep talking about USC football. We've got USC basketball. Last game of the year. It's ending like it started with a win against the SEC. USC 7-6, and they can carry that momentum into the offseason. Oh, by the way, the SEC, they're 0-3 in the Vegas Bowl. Big Ten teams now 3-0 in the Vegas Bowl. One last stat for you. All right, everyone. Thank you for making Locked on USC your first listen every day. Now get on over there to wearesc.com. There's going to be a ton of written content to keep you occupied.